Thank you for coming this morning. We have a great story to tell you in Horsham. A lot of good news, a lot of things going on that we want to share with you. Um, these five people on the screen, they're our Township Council. Eric Lemser's here with us this morning. Um, but these five people are what makes things happen in Horsham. The current council and the past councils. So they are leaders. They set the vision for the township. I have the privilege of standing up here and just being the spokesperson. I can't tell you what I'm about to tell you without these five people. And then after them, we have one of the best management teams that I think is in the Commonwealth, maybe in the country, that helped me implement the vision of the township. Sorry, there we go. And then even after my management team, we have all of our employees. So we have 88 full-time employees at Horsham Township, and they all love the community. To them, to most of them, it isn't a job. They want to see this community thrive. And they love coming to work every day, and they like helping the residents and the businesses and making our vision happen. So I'm a spokesperson up here, but there's a whole group of people behind me that make it all happen. So we think we check all the boxes. We have an educated workforce in this area. Many of you know there's over 100 four-year colleges right in Southeast PA and South Jersey. Every May, every December, all the graduates coming from those colleges are right here. So we have a great workforce. Low real estate taxes. Horsham is the sixth lowest real estate tax community in Montgomery County, one of the lowest in eastern Montgomery County. And we try to keep our real estate taxes low for the residents and the businesses. We want to thrive, but we also want our residents to thrive. We also want our businesses to thrive. So we try very hard to keep the real estate taxes as low as we can. Transportation, I think everyone knows, transportation is really a key to companies, businesses, and how we are set ourselves up economically. We'll talk about we entered the public transportation era a few years ago with HOPS, Horsham Office Park Shuttle. We'll talk about that. Healthcare, we all know we have one of the greatest healthcares and hospitals and health networks all around us in the city of Philadelphia and outside. Education, restaurants, parks, trails, environmentally progressive, diverse, affordable housing, low crime rate. We think we do a good job checking all the boxes. So who are we? Horsham Township, we're 17.3 square miles. We have 27,000 residents. We have 32,000 people that work in Horsham Township. We're one of the top employers in the county by municipality. We're number 3 or 4. I think Upper Marion and Lower Marion at 1 and 2, and we might be number 3 or 4 at this point. Unemployment's low. And then the last bullet is pretty, I think, very important to companies and businesses that are deciding, like, where are we going? Pennsylvania and Montgomery County and Horsham Township all expanded their population growth from 2020 to 2024. Not many counties, not many cities, not many towns did that during those 4 years since the pandemic. So our state, our county, and our township all expanded population growth. So we grew over the last 4 years. I'd like to also share numbers with you. Part of our goal with diversity with our employment in the township is we want to look like our community. We want to, at minimal, we want to look like our community. So we have 88 full-time employees. 10% of our staff is diverse, and that's what our community is. Our community is those same percentages. Just as an example, to pull one out, we have 5.7% of our staff is African American, and our community is 3.7% African American. So we work at that. We always look at that we want our employees, we want to look like our community. Our police department, so 41 sworn officers, 17% are female. We are number 1 in the county with that statistic for female officers. Also, almost 5% of the department is African American. So We are looking at diversity too with our staff as we want to mirror ourselves to the community. You don't get a lot of people coming to our council meetings, patting us on the back, saying, "Great job, you guys are doing a great job. Thank you very much. You're awesome." So every once in a while, it's nice to be recognized by outside agencies. This past year, we awarded by College Settlement for helping preserve 30 acres of their property permanently. We were also recognized by GVF for our shuttle bus that we started up, and also recognized by the Chamber for starting and taking the lead on the Horsham Business Association. We always invite people to Horsham. Always, always, always invite people to Horsham. We constantly want people coming to Horsham knowing who we are, what our vision is, what our future is, because in order to make the Navy base, which we'll talk about, happen, we need a lot of friends. So we're always inviting people so they know. Our next two are Senator Fetterman and Senator McCormick to come to town and also take a tour of the Navy base. So we are putting ourselves out there with all of our elected officials, all of our state people, our economic development people at the county, at the state, to hit some home runs. And when the base is ready to go, we have our friends where we need them to make that happen. We did not have a tax increase. Horsham Township did not have a tax increase in 2025, so that's where the dollar's broken up for taxes between the school district, the county, the community college, and the township. Our millage history, as you can see, was still pretty low at 2.23 mils. We're at Moody's AA1, so congratulations to our school district folks who have a table here. They got AAA. So congratulations, Hatboro Horsham School District, for your AAA status, and we hope we'll be right behind you. Millage comparison, local municipalities, where we are, the numbers underneath each community is the population of that community. So Horsham is 2.23 with right now 27,086 residents. We also like to show off our employee comparison, where we stand with other communities around us. Again, the populations are beneath the communities, so we have 88 full-time employees, amazing employees. What they are able to accomplish for this community is just simply amazing. They are dedicated, they are committed to the community, to the residents, and we accomplish a lot with our staff. Our 2025 budget, we did have a 3% increase, even though we didn't do a tax increase. About half of that went to the Horsham Fire Company, and our fire company is here today. So the township side of the increase was about $322,000, about a 1.5% increase for the overall, the township operations. And on the police department, we allocate 47% of our budget to the police, and public works gets 16%. Going into zoning and subdivision and land development, that's saldo. That's a challenging thing for our elected officials. You know, a lot of residents in Horsham have lived in Horsham for many years, many decades, and it's hard to see the change. Those of us who grew up here, including myself, had seen it go from a farming community to a metropolitan suburb. And that's what we are now. We are no longer a rural community. And we have to plan ourselves that way and not get stuck that, you know, that the perfect time's over. That's not true. You know, you hear from a lot of residents that we don't want change. We don't want that. We don't want that near us. We don't want that. But you have to change. You have to change. Transportation, parks, development, you have to change. I always say communities are living, adaptable, changing things. And just because, you know, what worked in 1950 doesn't work in 2025. And each decade, the community has changed. One thing that we have been working on is the village zoning. So up here, right up here, about a quarter mile up the road at Limekill Pike and Horsham Road, Right now, the existing zoning map, which is the blue, that's what our area is now. We want to create a village zoning, which is in red. So it just expands a little larger outside the current GC2 zoning. And this is just something what it could look like. This is the next to the Wawa property, and in between the car wash and the Wawa. You could have a retail store out here with some townhomes in the back. This is Los Serapis, and then this property here down to our police station. It could be wrapped around with about 20 to 30 townhomes, and then some retail stores out front. And then you start to create that village sort of feel. And what the zoning is: upscale restaurants, upscale shops, not your typical, your typical cookie cutter, like here's the daycare, and here's the CVS pharmacy. We're looking for more upscale village type businesses. We hope to introduce this ordinance later this year for this section. We did have an open house last year, which attracted almost 200 people to get their ideas. But these are just ideas. This is Good Nose Corner in Newtown. And we use this just to sort of, it doesn't mean the buildings are going to look like this, but it gives a sense of what we're trying to create up here in Prospectville. This is Fairland Village in Lower Gwinnett Township on Bethlehem Pike. This is the Dublin Town Center in Dublin. Again, just trying to create a village type atmosphere with a lot of walkability. The traffic improvements will come first, and they should be starting in 2026 and be wrapped up by 2028. And then doing that, we hope to attract the businesses. One question that I get more now than I get on the base: what is going on with Penn Mutual? The Penn Mutual Company, they are at Drescher Road and Whitmer Road, and have been in our community for many years. They recently demolished a building. So the answer is, I don't know. They have not provided any plans to us. They tell us as soon as they rip up the asphalt and plant grass seed, they will be putting a split rail fence around their property. So it's not on the market. No plans have been submitted to the township. I don't know what's going to happen to the Penn Mutual property at Drescher and Whitmer Road. But they've decided to work from home permanently. So at one point they had about 700 employees in the building, but they have decided to permanently work from home. But in their time here at Horsham, for their many years in Horsham, they were a great community partner. They were a company that did outreach. They did stuff at College Settlement. They did stuff, sponsored stuff with the school district. They sponsored Horsham Day. They did park cleanups. So we do thank them for their years here in Horsham, and we wish them all the best. As soon as we know something, we will let the public know something. This is the Select Soccer Association on Keith Valley Road. This building exists on Keith Valley. They are going to be starting construction, expanding. So they are expanding their facility, also expanding parking. If you or your child ever played at Select Soccer, parking's very tight there. So they will be expanding their building and parking. That's a construction project going on right now. Toll Brothers Regency at Waterside. Many of you know that is the old former Limekill Golf Club. That's 500 units for age qualified 55 and older. They are 352 units sold at this point. And it's a little slower now, but they're still selling around 10 per month. So they are on track to probably be sold out relatively soon. Keith Valley Middle School could have taken a better picture. Sorry, Scott. It looks better than this. This is taken over the winter as you see the snow. But Keith Valley Middle School is an amazing project for the community that the school district is getting done. And I think the students are moving in September. So we appreciate the school district. Another, it's not hard to do these. It's not easy to do these projects, but the school district had a great financial plan to get this accomplished, and a much needed school. I kind of joke between our Scott Everslodge, which is here, the school superintendent, and the former school superintendent, that our old township building was 1959, and the current Keith Valley Middle School is 1959, and we got ours done before them. So, but buildings don't last forever. I think most of us in the room know that. They just do not last forever, especially public institution buildings. So this is an exciting thing for our community and its future to have this. This is a piece of property on Limekill Pike, the Worth property on Limekill Pike. This is Lower State Road. This is Limekill Pike. This is Kohler Farms here. This is going to be in front of our Planning Commission in May. So it's starting the land development review, but it's already hit the planning. It's already hit the public for two reasons. Our Historical Advisory Commission had a look at this. This house, the existing farmhouse, the existing house here is a historical feature, historical resource in our township. That's where President Ulysses S. Grant's mother lived, and he himself were here for a few years during his lifetime. So the Historical Advisory Commission had to look at the plan, as well as our zoning hearing board. Those were the first steps for this to get to the Planning Commission, which is in May. But as you see on the plan, this is a proposed plan. This is not an approved plan. It's about 34 single-family homes, a little less dense. It's not a 1 acre lots, so the lots are a little bit smaller. Toll Brothers has this under agreement of sale. And we look at it as beneficial for a couple reasons. Is historically, we save the house. The house gets saved and preserved, not just saved. So the house has to be historically preserved, whether Toll Brothers keeps it or they sell it. It has a declaration of covenant, a deed restriction on the property, so the house is preserved. It's only 34 homes, single family homes. It protects a lot of the woodlands. If you see, most of all the new homes are going in the cornfield, the farm field. All the existing mature trees are staying. We're going to be connecting a trail. So trail along the property line here. They will be putting in a crossing on Limekill Pike. If you're familiar with the Hawks football field on Lower State Road, the township will be bringing a trail through that park out to Limekill Pike. And then we hope to either establish some trail easements at this point with the Kohler family to get us out to Chestnut and County Line. And then at that traffic light, you can cross over, and right at that traffic light is the Warrington-Bucks County trail system. So you can grab on that trail and you can go up to Street Road, you can go to the Bradford Dam, you can go to Lower Nike Park in Warrington and beyond. So we're trying to make those connections, those trail connections. So there's a lot of benefit to this plan. We hate to see, open space go. We know we can't save all the open space in Horsham Township, but we think this is a good plan historically, environmentally with the trees staying, recreational for the trail. So there's a lot of benefits to the plan. And they have a lot of perimeter open space, as you can see, around us for any to buffer any property owners around them. So stay tuned. That hits the Planning Commission in May. Another question I get a lot is the Joseph's Catering property down here on Horsham Road next to the high school. So that's going to be a storage facility, self-storage facility. We tried for many years. Is it what we wanted? No. Do we get a choice all the time of what happens and exactly what type of use gets put in? No. We tried, myself and Larry Burns, our Director of Community and Economic Development, we worked with the family for, I think it was probably 8 years. And what we wanted there was someone to take over the catering business, someone to build a upscale restaurant like Joseph Ambler Inn, Bluebell Inn, a nice restaurant on the property, or for our school district to buy it. And the school district did, prior to Dr. Evazaj, the former superintendent, he did enter into negotiations with the family. What the family wanted for the property, the school district couldn't afford. And it just, they couldn't reach a deal for a price. Larry and I worked with the family, several commercial real estate brokers, to try to attract a restaurateur or a restaurant. And we tried for 8 years, and no one showed any interest. So the family came with this use. It's not what we wanted, but it doesn't it doesn't have traffic, no kids in the school district. They agreed to make the facade match the high school, match CommScope across the street. There's going to be a pretty large berm between the building and Horsham Road, all landscaped. So it's not going to look as, I think, what people think a typical, self-storage facility with bright orange doors and garage doors. It's not going to look like that. So stay tuned. And a part of this project too is pedestrian lamps. So if you're familiar with the pedestrian lamps down at Horsham and Drescher, the black ones that were put in a few years ago, those same lamps are going to be put in as part of this project from Babylon Road to all the way to the end of the high school property. So in front of the high school, in front of this, in front of the My Eye Doctor, in front of TD Bank, we're going to have black pedestrian lamps, as well as the signal at Tournament Drive and Horsham Road is being redone too. So that's being all modernized. One of those, it'll look just like the signal at Horsham and Drescher Road. So it's going to have a whole new feel, whole new character, entering into the high school, entering into the Commonwealth Corporate Center. Moving on to some homes here. Oak Ridge development by Hallmark Builders at Keith Valley and County Line, that is sold out. Those were 50 single family homes. But not yet started by Corman Communities. This project was approved about 3 years ago now. And they're just waiting for the market to hit the right spot for them to start. But this is the Ave along Drescher Road that will hopefully start this year. Gibraltar Road, we're going to be tearing down another office building. So the old Toll Brothers headquarters at Gibraltar and Drescher Road will be torn down, but we know it's coming. We have 2 buildings. You can see them up top here. This will replace the Toll Brothers office building. And this is what the property will look like. The buildings will look like this. We do know what's happening with. This does have land development approval, and they're getting started to start their project. This is pickleball. I look outside and we have our pickleball courts here, but this is on Easton Road next to the Dunkin' Donuts on Easton Road. It's going to have 4 pickleball courts in it, but pickleball is a big thing nowadays. Pulte, Liberty Ridge, across from the Navy base. Independence Way now that goes from 611 to County Line Road. They hope to be wrapped up. So they hope to be sold out by the end of this year. These are twins being built, 104 units, twins, and they hope to be all wrapped up and done by next summer. This is Norristown Road at Welsh Road behind the Key Bank. This is a townhome community by Payon Builders. I believe there's about 50 townhomes being built currently under construction at this location. That project will come with some road improvements at Norristown and Welsh. There'll be a left turn lane from Norristown into this development. They're also adding a designated right turn lane on Norristown to go westbound on Welsh at the Key Bank corner. And then that traffic signal will be all retimed. I think many of us that live here, the roads aren't lined up too well. And sometimes it's hard to make a left onto Welsh, and and now a lot more people coming on Norristown and making a left onto westbound Welsh. So the whole timing of that signal is going to change to make it safer. So one leg of Norristown will go at a time rather than both going at the same time. So stay tuned for that, see how that works. Our facilities and parks. Thanks to Representative Serrato, she got a grant for us for bike repair stations. We have one at Deep Meadow and 4 along the Powerline Trail that are widely used by all the bicyclists that use our trail system. This room here, we just added 2 new projectors, cameras, sound system, audio in the ceilings, cordless mics, all new mics. If your company or anyone wants a off-site training, we have the location for you. It's a great building here that's in town, and we just upgraded all the audio visual to help with that. Our park signs, we talk about moving the community forward, vision, those red wood with white plastic letters. We have pictures from the 1960s, and everyone felt it was time to change over our park signs for the new generations of families and companies that are coming to Horsham. And this is what the committee came up with, and we started implementing these a couple of years ago, and we're phasing them in each year, but we've gotten lots of compliments of them. And even other towns come and take pictures of them and might be stealing our idea, but they look really great and really give a vision forward for the community. Some economic development projects. Many of you know we did about 100 street lamps in the Pennsylvania Lifestyle Campus. The yellow and orange and blue lines is where those lamps went. This year we're continuing them along Drescher Road from Whitmer Road to Walnut Grove Drive. So we're adding in pedestrian lamps in that section. Also, we're starting to talk to property owners. We haven't gotten to them all, but on the other side of Drescher Road from where the lamps and the sidewalks are, we want to do an asphalt trail. So this yellow at Whitmer Road and Drescher Road, this was the Penn Mutual building. We want to do a asphalt 6 to 8 foot wide asphalt trail and then down Welsh Road and then connect into the sidewalk at Village and Welsh. So we're talking to property owners because we need easements from the property owners. So far, the property owners that we've spoken to are all in favor of it. So we'll hopefully start that trail next year. Here's our HOPS, Horsham Office Park Shuttle. It travels from the Fort Washington Office Park to the Horsham Business Center and to the Pennsylvania Lifestyle Campus, free of charge. We have, there's 14 seats, there's Wi-Fi on it, there's an app so you can follow it. We have on our website, we have where the stops are through the business campus and office park, but it is getting more and more use, which is great to see. So we are doing probably 20 to 30 people, and they love it. And it's handicap accessible, not by this picture, but it has a bike rack on the front of it. So if someone wants to bring their bike off the train, put their bike on the bus, go to work, and then ride our trails at lunchtime. So that's getting more and more work. We hired a national site selector. One thing that keeps our taxes down is our office parks and the assessment on those buildings and the companies. So we hired the Boyd Company. They have offices in Princeton and Boca Raton, Florida. We hired them in December of 2023, and they're helping us hit a home run for Horsham. What is a home run? A company with 1,000+ jobs. So they're helping us attract companies with 1,000+ employees to Horsham Township. So we brought them on board and we work with them. These are some of the companies that the Boyd Company works for and with. So they are helping us and preparing us for the base development. The base will be developed, and we have to be ready. So we want companies to know about the base property too. One thing that we've been doing for several years is advertising ourselves, getting the Horsham name out there. One cool thing about the Horsham name is there's only one Horsham in the entire country. There's only 4 Horshams in the world. So we're not Springfield. But we want to go to get our name out there, and we advertise regionally, nationally, all over the place. Here's a couple of the journals that we put ourselves in, some articles, Site Selector magazine, Mid-Atlantic Real Estate Journal. All of these journals, and most of them are online, but some of them in paper too. But these get to the decision makers. These journals and magazines, they're hitting the decision makers of companies. Where are we going to locate? If we're going to expand, where are we going? So this just came out right before Christmas in the fall of last year. And although we love our governor, our article's larger than his, and we're right behind him. So I thought that's pretty cool. This is a magazine, Business Facilities, and it was focusing on all the states and all the economic development of the 50 states. And when Pennsylvania came, of course, our governor's there, and he's very, very big on economic development, which is awesome, and he lives close by, which makes it even better. But we were right after him. Horsham, 2.25 pages, right after the governor of Pennsylvania, and no one followed us. We were it. It was Governor Shapiro and Horsham, and that was the only thing in this national business facilities media, and that was pretty awesome. That was pretty cool. So we were proud of that, and hopefully that makes companies look at us. And we are also very proud of our housing in Horsham. We have a wide range of housing in Horsham. Diverse. We have a trailer park in Horsham, and we have $4 million homes in Horsham, and everything in between. You can buy, if you can get it while it's on the market, you can buy a single family home for $300,000 in Horsham. So we have a whole wide range of housing stock in Horsham, that makes us pretty diverse in a wide range of residents and people living in Horsham. So why Horsham? I'm not going to bore you with all these bullets. You can read them. This would be on our website. But I think a couple of ones that just came out is, number one is that Pennsylvania is slashing their corporate net income tax rates. We really needed that. We really, really needed that as a state to drive the economy of the state. That's really going to help not only Horsham, Montgomery County, but also the state. Forbes just recently ranked Pennsylvania the 7th best state to start a business in. Out of 50, not bad. Pennsylvania has been named one of the top 3 best states to raise a family in 2025. We're checking all the boxes. We really are. Not only we locally, but our friends at the county, our friends at the state. I don't know why companies want to go to New Jersey, but we'll try to take them back. The environment. Our solar project, we are up and running. We're going to have a flip the switch event, but all of our solar is up and running. So all of our facilities in Horsham are done by solar power. This building, everything right now is solar. We are the first municipality in the county that has all of its facilities on solar power. And we are generating, not only covering the energy that our facilities and buildings need, but we are giving back to the grid. So we are generating enough to give back to PECO and give back to them. So we just, the end of March is when our last public works garage went on, and it's working very well for us. Other environmental things that we've worked on, electrical vehicle charging stations here, the Township building and the library. We're trying to retrofit basins So basins in the neighborhoods that were designed back in the 70s and 80s is concrete channels running down them and cut the grass. We're trying to redesign them and retrofit them environmentally, that we don't have to maintain them as much with grass cutting, and we are addressing water quality, but also water control, stormwater flow. So we've done that the last few years. You might have seen a lot of, you have seen work down at Horsham and Drescher Road in the open space there. And as soon as the equipment started arriving, the calls started rushing in, like, what's happening? What's going on? What's being built? We didn't hear about anything. So as soon as we tell them it's the stream bank stabilization project for Pennypack Creek, they're very happy. So that project's moving forward. As I mentioned earlier, we help College Settlement. I know Giselle's here. So we help College Settlement along with Montgomery County and the state preserve permanently 30 acres, the Pennypack Farm. So we were really proud, really excited about that. Now we just have to preserve the other 200. The environment, we do our eco event now in the fall, and it's really popular with our residents. We have a tree all at the same time on this complex. We have a tree giveaway, an waste recycling event for TVs, computers, electronics, and also shredding. So that'll be held in October this year. Our police department, they created a new website. If you go onto crimewatch.pa.com, you can sign yourself up for the police department notifications. So they tell you almost as things are happening. Luckily, not much is on there, but when things do happen, you can get a text alert through the app. You can be alerted by the police of something going on in town. So they rolled that out. They also rolled out their Blue Envelope program. So this is a program where if someone, or if you have a relative or friend, a neighbor that is on the autistic spectrum or has communication challenges or dementia, if they keep this in their vehicle and with someone's also phone number inside the envelope for the police officer to call, and the person driving hands this to the police officer then knows what he or she's dealing with. Whether they're dealing with someone on the spectrum or has communication challenges or is dementia, they have someone's phone number inside the envelope to contact so they can work through things. So these envelopes are available at our police station if you'd like to pick any up, if you know someone. We redid our website, so please take a look at our website. We added Township, a lot of Township events, what's new to Horsham, businesses, companies, restaurants. Horsham Connected, which I'll talk about now. We moved their website and incorporated it into our website. So Horsham Connected is a group that is we have about 40 local civic organizations in Horsham with churches. And what we saw during the pandemic and right after the pandemic, everyone was struggling. And what we didn't want was to lose our civic organizations, our churches. So we formed this group, Horsham Connected, that came together to help each other and help the community. Not only is that group helping each other sustain themselves, but also we have St. Vincent de Paul Food Bank, which is at St. Catherine's Church, Hat Packs down in Hatboro. They provide lunches to the families and children that need them during school, but also during the summertime. The Horsham Interfaith Coalition, the churches supporting each other to sustain themselves, and St. Matthew's Church Little Pantry, another food bank program for those in need in the region. You heard Pam talk about it. We did lose our Horsham Chamber of Commerce after the pandemic. So Larry and I, we were coming up with ideas like what do we do? We didn't have anyone that wanted to continue the chamber, the Horsham Chamber. So we came across Pam, and she does this for the Lower Gwinnett Business Association. and we are modeling after that. So we have we have a local business association that the local government can network with the local businesses. And that just keeps growing. So we're excited about that new venture. So the naval base update. Seen this photo since 2011, and it's been a long ride. We have hopefully the HLRA, the Horsham Land Redevelopment Authority, is continuing negotiations with the United States Navy, and they are going well. When I say well, I would say very well. Mike Shinson's here, our executive director of the HLRA. But I would hope that maybe by the end of next year, phase one is transferred to the township. So we are getting closer and closer to kicking this off. A few years back, we asked the Navy likes to, the military, Department of Defense, they like to transfer a base all at once and just be, we're done. You know, here's your 900 acres, we're done, and we're out. And we approached them a few years ago and said, because there's sections of this property that are not contaminated. They're not. And we thought, like, let's get started. Let's do something. It's been so long. And we approached them thinking the door would be slammed in our faces. Would you sit down and negotiate with us to phase it in rather than giving us all the property at once? And they said yes. So we've been negotiating with them. If we're successful, phase one, I call phase one, would be down at Horsham, Maple Avenue at 611 and Horsham Road, that section of purple that you see, Office Park area. Also in the negotiations that the HLRA is doing with them is talking about the possibility of, even if we just get phase one down here, can we get an agreement so we can start putting in the roads? And Norristown Road would be the first road that we would put in. So we're getting, hopefully in the next couple years, you'll see some stuff happening. It's very exciting that we're getting to this point. As I said, the HLRA is working extremely hard. It's time. It's time. You'll probably see on the council agenda too tomorrow night is, we're starting to rezone the property per the plan. So it's all zoned industrial right now, and we're going to start working at creating the zoning as shown on the plan for the future. So it's time we start moving. It's time. I think the military, the Navy also has the same feelings at this moment that it's time. It's time to get going on this. So we're excited. I think you'll have a lot more news coming in the next 12 to 24 months on the base. Another local project is the Miracle Field. You see the construction going on across the street currently for the Miracle Field. I think a lot of people thought originally it was just a field, just cut down the trees and build the field. There's a lot more to that. Stormwater, just like the developers out there, NPDES permit, all of that was needed for this project. A basin had to be put in underneath the parking lot. A basin has to be put out front. So a lot of work even before the field starts. But right now, the schedule is for the field to be completed this June. So stay tuned, and amazing things happening in Horsham. I know Mr. Slaymaker's here in the audience. So Bill, thank you and your team for all you're doing for these kids and others that will use the field. District Court, they relocated. So they're now at 955, was the bank prior to this. And actually we were at this location while the township was being built. So anyone that needs a district court, they've located out to 955 Horsham Road. It looks pretty good, pretty nice inside. This court combined Hatboro and Horsham now. They closed, the county closed the Hatboro court and combined it. So this this district court serves Hatboro and Horsham. This is another project that we're looking at doing. This is at Drescher. It's a gateway. This is Drescher Road. This is Welsh Road. So there used to be a auto repair shop there that we knocked down. We bought the property and knocked down the building a couple years ago. So this is the design currently, the landscape design. So this is what you see right here. But back behind it, we're going to have a little trail connecting the sidewalks. And we're going to have a lot of environmental best management practices and educational signs, all native plants, flowers, trees, and education signs. So when people walk through the trail, they can get some education too about the environment at that intersection. So these poles will light up. These 3 poles are poles that will light up at nighttime. Township Library. So our library, believe it or not, is now 21 years old. Last year we celebrated 20 years with our library, but it was also time to take care of the library. We put a new siding on it. It was time, as you can see, all the way to the left. The original siding was far served its purpose. So we put new siding on it. We put a new roof on it. We're underway with the Mary Dare Courtyard. We thank the Rotary Club. I know Bart's here and Ray. They're purchasing the furniture now for the Mary Dare Courtyard. That's going to be a phased-in project. So that'll be exciting when that gets put out in front. Our comprehensive plan. So we worked at this for about 2.5 years. It'll be hitting council for approval in the next month or two. But we focused in on about six areas in Horsham. And again, a comprehensive plan is just a plan. It's ideas. It may or may not ever happen, but you have to have ideas. You have to have plans moving forward. Prospectville Village. We own Glemsers now as they transition their business to Montgomery Township up on Horsham Road. They're still in business in Horsham, but this is sort of the idea of that property will become, along with the village zoning I showed you earlier in the presentation. Maple Glen Village. These are just 2 concept plans. This is Norristown Road here. This is Welsh Road. These are existing buildings. Like if nothing ever got knocked down and the existing buildings just stayed, what could become? So the comprehensive plan shows more landscaping, more parking that joins together, and that's really, if nothing else changes. If a developer comes in and buys the properties, the plan beneath shows what it could become with all the parking behind. This is Welsh Road, this is Limekill Pike, this is Norristown Road, with the landscaping, the parking, all the buildings out front. Outdoor eating and gathering spaces, and walkability, of course. So that was a focus area. County Line Road between Maple Avenue and Meeting House Road, the plan looks at of improving with walkability, streetscaping, pedestrian lamps. So that also is looked at in the plan. Village Mall, if the mall ever sold, what could the property become? It's all talked about in the plan about an idea. Doesn't mean that this idea is coming to fruition, but again, having ideas, creativity, a plan for the future. The Horsham Road section is looked at between Norristown and Drescher Road in the plan, with us looking at green space, walkability, traffic improvements. We are looking at possibly seeing and researching if red light cameras would help some of these accidents at Norristown and Horsham and Maple. We have a lot of accidents there. So we're looking at red light cameras unrelated to the comprehensive plan. Easton Road, we're looking at that, and this is just a conceptual in front of Wendy's to take out the concrete, put plantings and native plants in, replace the traffic signals with the more ornamental design ones. These are businesses, to name a few, and the list keeps growing. I know we couldn't put them all on here, but these are businesses that came into Horsham Township this year and last year. One other investor that I forgot to put a slide on is, many people don't know Johnson & Johnson is in Horsham Township, and their campus is located right across from the high school in the Commonwealth Corporate Center. 1,800 employees work at Johnson & Johnson in Horsham Township. They invested last year, over the last 2 years, in 23 and 24, $160 million. They constructed a brand new building and gutted 2 existing buildings as they were bringing their employees back to work. So they are a major employer in Horsham and invested. They own their property, which is good. They have 2 more buildings on their master plan that they have constructed in Horsham that they have land development approval for. So we'll see. We hopefully have a bright future with Johnson & Johnson in Horsham. Township events. As I mentioned earlier, we don't have a Parks and Recreation department. We don't have a special events coordinator. Everything that we do, everything that you see, all the events, special events, we do with our existing township staff. And as you saw by one of the charts, we have one of the lowest number of staffs with the municipalities around us. So again, we have amazing staff that do amazing things in Horsham. These are the special events that the staff put on every year. Thank you to Regina in the library. She's sitting in the back. But the library is more of our recreation service. It is the Department of Library and Recreation Services, and they do a lot of programming at the library for all ages. But these special events they take a lot to put on. I think if any of you put on anything for your companies, or there is a lot of work. It seems repetitive, but there is a lot of work behind the scenes to get everything advertised, all the emergency management planning, everything that goes on behind the scenes that the staff that they all do. New this year is our Horsham Citizens Municipal Academy. So we've run our police academy for over 25 years, and people are just living their lives. They're working their jobs, they're raising their families, they're taking care of their home. They have no idea what zoning means. So can I widen my driveway? Oh no, you need a variance. Can I put a shed in my backyard? Yeah, but you need a variance if you want to put it there. So we want to sort of start educating our residents and businesses and tell them about each department of the township. I think it's a 8-week course. So we'll have our water and sewer authority there. Our fire company will be there, as well as all the departments of the township over 8 weeks. It's one night a week. It filled up so quick. Then we had to move it because we're building the Miracle Field and we're lacking parking here, so it's moved to the fall. But we'll have it each year, and we want to try to educate the residents of what it is we do and why do we do it. Restaurant Week, Larry will share this out in the coming months, but September 13th through the 19th to support our local restaurants. And I got to speed it up here. Transportation projects. So this is just a list of our roads that we'll be paving this year in Horsham. Probably the most exciting one to everyone is Horsham Road. Horsham Road, PennDOT is going to pave Horsham Road from Tournament Drive to 611 this fall. It's way overdue. As you know, it's falling apart, it's crumbling. Even them filling the potholes, is no longer holding it together. So PennDOT will be here this fall. Stay tuned to our website and social media on dates and when that will be happening. Limekill Pike and Horsham Road Improvement Project up here. We're finishing up our right-of-way acquisition. There was 41 properties that we needed to work with on this project, and we're down to basically the last 2, and then we'll be moving on to getting the project out to bid later this year. That'll probably be a project that'll go from 26 to 28 when it starts. Blair Mill Road widening project is under construction currently. It's where you see the yellow lines on Blair Mill Road, a little bit up where the CVS and PJ Willihan's is. The majority will be down at Whitmer Commerce Drive on Blair Mill Road. That is under construction now. We are in engineering for phase 3. So that'll join all the pieces that phase 2 isn't working on. And then by the end of phase 3, which is scheduled for the end of 2028, Blair Mill Road will be 5 lanes from 63 to 611. Another project we're in engineering phase for is the bridge right out here in front of Kohler Park, to take and widen that for the future widening of Horsham Road. That project we're trying to line up with the intersection project, so everything happens at one time. Yes, government does think of things like that. That we don't want to get this project done at the intersection and everyone says, yes, finally, after 2 or 3 years, and then we shut everything down for the bridge. So we want to do the bridge and the intersection at the same time. So the bridge will be done by 2028 also. And then after the bridge, we're entering in engineering for the widening of Horsham Road between Davis Grove Road, the Horsham Road Bridge, and then the Babylon Road. So when that widening's done, Horsham Road will be 5 lanes from 611 to 152 when that project. So we have a lot in the pipeline. And I'm happy to say all of these transportation projects are funded. They're all funded with grants. So there will be no cost to current or future taxpayers. Traffic signals are just, you live in town, you go through town. So these are traffic signals that we're working on, either in engineering stages or we've already put in place to modernize our signals. One thing that we did, we joined the Eastern Monco Interchanges Group. So it's Horsham, Upper Moreland, Upper Dublin, Montgomery County, PennDOT, and the Turnpike Commission. And this group is looking at and focusing in at the Willow Grove interchange, the future Welsh Road interchange, Virginia Drive, and Fort Washington. So even though none of these interchanges are in Horsham, they're strategically located to and very important to our future economic local economy in Horsham. So Bowles Smythe is the consultant working with the group and working on designs. Right now, Welsh Road is moving forward. The property owner that bought the old Prudential Insurance Company is allowing land to be used for the new interchange. So that is right now moving forward. It takes a while to do turnpike interchanges. Willow Grove is set to be all done in about 7 to 8 years. So that's a fast track. I know it sounds like a far off time, but it'll be hopefully just lining itself up in time for the base redevelopment to be kicking off too. So Willow Grove will be done in 7 to 8 years. And we're working with Upper Dublin and Upper Moreland and the Turnpike Commission for the Welsh Road interchange. Another plan that we're finishing up this year is the Route 611 Corridor Implementation Plan. So we've gathered a bunch of stakeholders, everything in between from Blair Mill Road to County Line Road. And we're going to have our public meetings this year. Everything will be shown to the public. But what's 611 going to look like with the redevelopment of the base in the future? And this committee was focused in on looking at pedestrian movements, walkability, traffic, vehicle traffic, public transportation. Do we need 7 lanes? Do we need 2 lanes? Do we need a bike lane? Do we need a trail or a sidewalk? Do we need a roundabout? Do we have too many SEPTA bus stops along 611 now? Do we need more? Where will the buses turn in to the town center for the base? So all of this is being planned out, and hopefully this plan will be done by the end of this year. So we are planning, we are making investments, not only the township, but the Water and Sewer Authority, the school district, the fire company. Everyone's planning for the future. No one's sitting at their desk or office twiddling their thumbs. We are planning this community for the future, and we want to create jobs. If you don't have a good economy, then nothing else really happens, because the economy is what provides the revenue for the local government to accomplish things. One thing that we hear now, and Larry and I talk with a lot of companies, all over the country, and you always hear like, well, do you have nice neighborhoods? This is for the before the pandemic. Do you have nice neighborhoods? Yeah, transportation projects. You have transportation projects under construction and funded. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But their number one thing that we hear from them is, what's your crime rate? How safe is your community for our employees? How safe are your neighborhoods for our employees to live in with their families? That's changed since the pandemic. They don't care so much about the transportation projects right now. They don't care about sometimes the taxes. Their number one question is, what's your crime rate? How safe is your community? That's the number one question right now. I'm glad we are one of the safest communities in the Commonwealth. So we're not going to take our foot off the pedal. We are excited. We're pumped up. We love this township. We love this community. We are going to continue everything we're working on in every area. One thing you can't do, as leaders, as local leaders, you just can't concentrate on one area. You just can't concentrate on transportation and traffic improvements. You got to cover it all. You got to balance it all and treat it all at the same level, whether it's transportation, zoning, land development, parks, social, helping those in our community that need help. And you got to treat it all the same and move your community at the same time and push it forward, into the future. If you start going like this with different issues, then your community is going to have issues. If you treat everything equally and you move your community forward, you're going to set this place up for a destiny that is going to be awesome for future generations. So that's what we look at, and that's what we focus in on. We are doing an awesome job in Horsham. So I probably missed stuff, but I'm also know I'm 5 minutes over, and you guys have to get back to work. So we do have a little time for questions, but I also want to say thank you to Larry Burns and Pam from the Chamber and Kim from the Chamber and AAA Catering from Lansdale. Thank you very much. Did an awesome job. So again, thank you for coming. I'm going to hang out afterwards. I tell everybody, if you have any questions, don't get involved with gossip. Call us. Call myself, call Larry, call the township, and ask questions. We're pretty good at getting responses and answers to you. So please reach out to us. Thank you for coming. I also forgot to mention that we do have Senator Colette's and Representative Serrato's offices in the back. That don't go anywhere real quick. If anyone needs to talk to the senator's office, Brian's here. Representative Serrato's office, Raphael is here. Also, Bill Whiteside, our council president, is in the back. So we're here for the next half hour if you need any of us. Again, thank you for coming. Pam, do you want anything or nope? Good to go. Thank you all. Thanks. Have a great day.